Yo, my peoples, what's up? Jason here with the One Stop Co-op Shop. Today I have a playthrough, a Kickstarter preview playthrough for Paperback Adventures. This is the latest from Fowers Games. It will be live on Kickstarter on Tuesday, May 18th, so only a little bit after when this video releases. It is the next evolution of Paperback, which came out a couple of years ago, also from Fowers Games. It was a deck building word game, very interesting. This system, for one player only, takes that basic deck building premise. So as you can see, I have letters in my deck, and I'm going to be making words. However, it is with a dungeon roguelike motif. I'm going to be making it through a theoretical dungeon with some enemies, more enemies over here. You can see there's a big pile of them. And as I move forward, I'm going to be tracking my health. I'm going to be gaining upgrades and building bigger and better and more words, and also firing off powers as well. So taking that paperback system and really blowing it out and making a full-fledged dungeon-esque game out of the system. After I explain the rules, I'm going to be taking you through the first 3 combats. So 2 combats versus regular enemies and 1 boss combat, upgrading along the way, and that will be the preview. We shall begin with looking at the character that you will be playing during Paperback Adventures. Please note that all components are prototype quality. The graphic design and art may change. Some stuff will be added as the development process happens after the Kickstarter is over. So this is Ex Machina. There is another character, and there may be more added as the campaign goes on. So then you have Ex Machina, made of metal. He became the most human of all. Very nice. I'm on the journey to make him even more human and heroic. Sweet. He will start with 20 hit points, and in dungeon roguelike fashion in other games, these hit points will persist from fight to fight. There are 9 total fights throughout a campaign of Paperback Adventures, and through those 9, you'll be tracking your hit points through there. You also have other stats as well. You will have mana, and you'll gain mana throughout the adventure, gain it and lose it, in order to fire off these abilities. So you will have 2 different kinds of abilities. One is kind of a core set that defines your character. So you have Repair Panel and Laser Eyes, kind of a defensive-oriented power and an offensive-oriented power. And also you have this wild card in order to help you gain letters when you need them from round to round. If you don't use this wild card, you'll gain a mana. Love gaining a mana. These are modular kind of flavor adds. There are recommended starting ones, but there's a whole deck of items, as you can see. So you can either start with the normal ones or just kind of like mill through and mold your character how you want from game to game. These 2 counters will represent what the game calls boons and hexes. So then boons are boons to your character, and you'll be able to do more and more things depending on how high your boon is. In this particular case, the items always interact off of boons and hexes. Ex Machina will be able to heal as long as he has boons, but different characters will have different things they can do with their boon. Same thing with hexes. Hexes, in terms of the character's use of hexes, they hex other people. Hexes are always bad, but the boss can also hex you, and you will track both of those things along the same counter track as well. Last thing to note here in terms of upgrades, this is what they call the MacGuffin deck. The MacGuffin deck is double-sided. These are kind of extra floating powers. They usually don't require any kind of mana cost to fire off. These do. These are just like, yay, here have powers. You'll be earning these as you move along. In addition, this is your dinky deck of starting letters, and I'll show you how these work in just a second. But along the way, you'll be able to improve. This is Ex Machina's personal deck of letters. Whoa, holy moly. There's all sorts of letters, all sorts of powers you're going to be gaining throughout the course of the adventure. All right, so here is the boss, and I'm also going to demonstrate a sample turn. So the boss is right here. This is modular, so there's lots and lots of bosses that will come. This is a Book 1 enemy. There are a couple of these. I'll fight 2 of the Book 1 enemies that hit a boss. 2 Book 2 enemies hit a boss. Book 3 enemies hit a boss. And those are your 9 that you will fight. This is not final art. And in fact, most of the cards you're going to see are not going to have enemy art, at least. However, this gives you a sense. It's the Ryan Goldsberry familiar from Fowers Games. So on every turn, you're going to make a word with your cards, and you have a couple of resources to do so. You have your 10 card deck. You can draw 4, and also the boss gives you a letter. So as you can see, this is the eye is yellowed out, which indicates kind of a weakness, which means that you can always have an eye available to you when you're spelling your word. Also, as I showed you, you have that one power, which is a wild card. You can flip it. This becomes a card that you put into your hand. So you have a potential of making 6-letter words at the very beginning. Okay, so I'm going to make a 6-letter word. So I see that I can borrow from here, and I can borrow this one over here, and I'm going to make the word waiter. This is a T-W-A-I-T-E-R. Now I have a choice. I can choose how I want to use this word. So the enemy is always going to attack me. So in this particular case, it only has 1 attack, but if you flip it, you see that they can have 2, and they can have up to 4 different things that they do. So that will determine how I play my word. So in this particular case, it's pretty simple, and I kind of want to get a little bit of offense in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what the game calls splaying. So then I would splay my cards this way. And as you can see on the right side of the card, I have an attack symbol. And right now, this layout would represent 4 attack. And this lightning symbol is mana, so 2 mana. So I would do that right there. I would deal, for this creature should have 5, bring them all the way down to 1, do 4 damage, and then move on about my day. Or if I was, for some reason, afraid of this person's attack, and that's going to happen, absolutely it's going to happen, I would splay the cards the other way. So then I would have this symbol, which is block, and I would block 4 damage and also get the 2 mana. So it depends on kind of reacting to what the boss is doing and how my health is doing to see if I'm going to splay it to the left or to the right. In addition, you are going to use the power of the top letter. So if I splay it to the left like this, I'm going to use this power. So not only do I get the symbols, I get the power, which is add 2 hex counters to the enemy, which would be a good thing because I interact with my items. Or also, if I went the offense route, I'd be able to do the W, lose 1 HP, and draw 2 more cards. So every word you make, every single word in Paperback Adventures, you will have 2 options for how to splay it, left or right. And also during the planning phase, you'll be able to use your items that uses mana. This one, you'll be able to heal. This one, you'll be able to do some offense and attack. You'll be getting upgrades, and you'll have all those decisions, a huge decision space before you spell your word. And then after you've done that, you'll get to the enemy turn. Enemy turn is fairly simple. You see you have the chevron over here. If there are multiple slots, it will move down the A1, 2, 3, and 4 and execute different attacks. In this particular case, it's a weenie enemy, so it's just going to keep on doing the same thing. At the end of the round, whatever letter that you used, unless I use the W, you'll actually fatigue it, which is remove it from the game until the next boss or until the next enemy. So the deck will get shorter and shorter. It's only 10 cards. So you're going to want to defeat the enemy within like 5 or 6 rounds or 5 or 6 turns until eventually you'll just run out of resources. You won't be able to do your thing. So get spelling, people. You will also get this back. This happens every single round, and you'll also be able to get this back as well to either use as a wild or to get a mana if you don't need this card. Once I am done wearing down this boss, this one only has 5 hit points. Believe me, they're not all that easy. You would flip it, and then it goes into its second phase, so obviously a little bit harder, does a little bit more, and then you have to continue to wear down the enemy until it is defeated. Once you defeat an enemy, you will have your access to basic enemy reward cards. If you defeat bosses, you'll be able to take the reward card from the boss. You'll pull from the bottom of the deck because they're double-sided. That way you don't know what you're getting, and you'll choose. Either you'll collect all of the rewards from here, or you'll turn it over and draw all the rewards from here. As you can see, this is a solid group of rewards. Draw some items, draw some cards, replace. This is how you improve your deck. You'll be able to replace cards in your deck, beating enemies. Bosses, you'll just add to the deck. And usually that is, the cards come from this big pile. You'll be able to draw 3 and pick one. Or, if you really want to, you can pull the better rewards, but you end up getting penalty cards. Penalty cards are like curses and dominion. You could still use them to spell, but they usually have some terrible thing that it does to you. And you know, except for the S, like these are generally less workable letters, and they kind of hinder you. But if you can get them out of the way, it's not bad. But it's usually worth it to get those penalty letters to get some of the extra rewards, MacGuffins, all the better stuff. So as you can see, you get a lot after each combat, and you'll be doing that 8 separate times leading up to the final boss. So you're going to have lots of items, a nice sized deck, and your game at the end is going to look completely different than it did at the start. And hopefully you've made it to the end of Paperback Adventures. All right, so I am ready to begin the game. Here is my deck. I'm going to draw my 4 initial cards. Here we are. I have S or T, S, W, E. So I am facing off at first against the pesky suitor, so I have access to the I wild card. This person's power is I deal 5 damage and then heal up to 5 HP. The game is basically telling you defeat this character in one go. Because if you don't defeat it at one go, if you put it down to 1, he's just going to heal up to 5, and that's what makes him pesky. So, way to live up to your billing there, pesky suitor. So, the Machina is generally, like, he has these laser eyes, and the laser eyes does decent damage, but it takes a while to build up, which I'm not too happy about. You have to add these hex tokens, and he can only add hex tokens once per round. His main way of doing so, besides the cards, is this battery pack. Needs to build up the mana, only builds up 1 at a time. That's not very good. However, if I look at my cards, I have 1 card in the deck that is the S, and the power on the S is shields down, add 1 hex to the enemy, and add 1 damage to any enemy attack this turn. So it's like, all right, I'm going to attack a little bit more, but open myself up a little bit more. However, if I were, and I think my word is coalescing over here. So then if I were to say this word, stew, I would have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana that would need to kill this enemy. So, you know, I'm checking my resources. I could use my wild card, but I don't need to. So I'm going to get mana. That's to 1. And then I get another mana from the word, which is 2. And then I use the 5 attack. And then I defeat the pesky suitor in 1 go, which is what you need to do in order to get past him. So then when you defeat him, he is stunned, moves on to the second phase, and it actually does not execute the second action. At least now, he will execute that action on the next go. So that's cool. So then I take my S, my poor S. I love S's in word games. They're so flexible. But let's see. Oh, I also get to add a hex to him. Ooh, that's good. I'm going to be able to use that hex later. Bye-bye, S. That is going to go. I'll just put that up here to indicate that it's now fatigued and removed from my game until I defeat this enemy. All right. So now I go on to my next turn. Okay, some more common letters. I'm not getting screwed with some different letters there. This one, I have to keep in mind 2 attacks, and they're going to be bouncing between the 2 from round to round. This one says 1 attack deals 5 damage, and the other one is heal up to 5 HP, so they break that up a little bit. So good to defend against this and good to attack when this is up. And also when they do successfully attack, if you see the power on the bottom, remove 1 mana. Boo! Leave my mana alone. See what I could spell. All right, so I have set the enemy token to 15 health, and I think I'm going to make this a defense round for a couple of reasons. 1, I can make a word nadir, the low point of a thing, and I'm going to splay it this way, or splay it to the left, get advantage of the icons, which is these 4 shield tokens and 1 mana, and also execute the power, which is add 2 hex to the enemy. Oh yeah, you know that's going to happen. And so that I don't do any damage. So it does damage to me. Deal 5 damage, but I block 4 of it. So I should be on 20. I take 1. and also lose mana. I do not like that, but that's kind of inevitable. Okay, so R, you have done your job. You are out of the round. Discard that, and I get 2 more cards and shuffle up and see what I can do. DAOL, got some vowels over here. Good thing I have this wild card. This wild card could be anything. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this vowel this turn because I already have some, but I at least have the wild card to help me fill in. All right, after a little bit of deliberation, I am going to take my vowel over here. I'm going to continue to not use my wild card, give me a little bit more mana, and use the word dial. If you don't use all your letters, you just discard them anyway. I did not use this one because I don't think I need the shield this round anyway, so it happened to work out. That's going to get discarded, and I'm going to use the word dial, and that gets me 3 attack, which is okay. He's just going to heal it that next round. That's whatever, but I get 3 mana, which is the thing I really wanted, and I also move a card from my fatigue pile into my discard pile. You would think I would want to move that S, but I'm actually going to move the R, mostly because I like having the power over here available to me. So I'm going to do that. And technically you should do this before resolution, but I forgot to. I intended to. I'm going to use a battery pack, so I had the mana for it. And I'm going to add another boon counter and a sun to myself. So then that sun, eventually, it resets at the end of the round, so I don't think I'm going to use the sun this round. But normally it would be good for repairs. So, or maybe I will. Maybe I'll, take a little bit of damage and repair myself before I defeat this enemy, which I'm going to, darn it. So you heal to full, and so negating the attack, and now I'm ready to strike. So we're going to discard that. Got my R back, and I get the cards over here. Okay, so TNEW, and now I get to push a couple of buttons. So I was able to use this last turn, and now I could use the laser eyes. So the laser eyes will remove the hexes. It'll remove 4 hexes from the character, and I'll go pew right in his face for 7 hit points of damage. I would definitely want to get this person to 0 before they hit this action again, so I have 2 actions in order to do that. All right, so I runneth over with mana, so I'm going to use the Rocket Punch. So I go down from 5 to 2, and I'm going to get 2 attack and 2 more shield, which I think will be handy. And then I drew cards, and I'm going to make the word went once again, not have to use my wild card. So I'm going to get 1 mana, and then I'm going to get 4 mana from actual usage, and then have for 6 shield. So this action is ideal. The character deals 5 damage. I have 6 shield. That's fine. But if I have at least 4 shield over here, I get to add 4 attack, including the attack I got from Rocket Punch. So 6. Pow! You are down to 2. Get out of here. I'm doing pretty well here. So then I'm going to remove this T from the game and then move on to the next round. I probably should have taken the S, shouldn't I? But I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm going to nail this pesky suitor once and for all. Okay, AWL, and there's that R. Yeah, I'm probably just going to be able to take that person out before that the heal comes, and it will be breaking the law. It's real. This game is really great when you can coordinate the letter you're spelling with what's happening. So I can imagine that pesky suitor is breaking the law. And here I am, like Judge Dredd. I am the law. Pow! And that person is now dead. The pesky suitor has been taken care of, and I win the first round. Everything resets back to 0. I still have this stuff to deal with. That's perfectly fine. I only lost 1 hit point. I'm perfectly happy with that. And now I pull from the rewards deck. All right, so I choose one of these 2 sides to execute, and I have to execute all sides. So on this side, draw 2 cards and choose one to replace a regular card in my deck. Draw a random MacGuffin, and upgrade a card in my deck. Now this one is a little bit more. I get a little bit more, but it's a little bit more random. Draw a card to replace a non-penalty card. That card I replace is random. Don't know if I like that. Upgrade 2 cards in your deck and draw 2 items and choose 1 to keep. Fantastic. I think I'm going to use this side mostly to show MacGuffins. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to draw 2 cards from the giant stack of cards. Just a reminder, here's that giant stack of cards. This is all personal to Ex Machina, U, and Y. If it's a diamond, it tends to be a little bit better. So just kind of to keep that in mind, although U might not be the most awesome card to use. Y is a variation on another card, Shields Down. Add 2 bad stuff to the enemy. I don't know if I like that. Or for every card in your language in your fatigue pile, add a. So they both add Bane, which is really nice. Ex Machina can heal, and I haven't used the heal function, so let's go a little bit more aggressive. We're going to go with Shields Down and add the Y to my deck. Card I'm going to remove, I can have a choice in this one, is W. Bye-bye, W. So my deck is still 10 cards. The MacGuffins are here, and I'm going to draw from the bottom of this deck because it's double-sided and I don't get to know what it is. Dragon Scale, gain 5 max HP, or Unicorn Horn. At the start of battle, heal 2 if you have less than 8 HP. At this early stage, I'm not going to continue this campaign all the way to the end, but I think just straight up Dragon Scale is going to be the thing that I want. So I go from 19 to 24, and I just, I know that's there, so I don't have to keep track of that anymore. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to stick that next to it. The card I'm going to upgrade is R, that card that gave me 2 Bane for the enemy. When we're going offense now, that would let me fire off the max effect on Laser Eyes a little bit better. It's basically the same card, only it is just add +1 hex to an enemy. All right, on to enemy number 2. I have set up a new round. The new enemy is the Deep Sea Diver. It's a little bit more vicious. It has more attacks. It also gives me a better valve for its weakness. So it kind of balances out, I think. So, yep, no art on this one. Most of the characters are still waiting. The bad guys, at least, are waiting for their art. All right, so we'll get that going. And I am going to draw my 4. Okay, that's not terrible. Good. All right, so RES. Well, look at that. So I'm definitely going to want to take advantage of an attack mat around, and I have my upgraded R, which adds 3 whatever to the enemy, the hexes. So I am going to be able to add 3 automatic, which is nice to set up an early and often Laser Eyes. And let's see. So then I also gain 2 mana from that, and I deal 5 whole damage, which is a nice opening hit. So then it deals 3 damage to me. I'll just take that and block that with my face. Okay, down to 21, which is still over my max, so I like that. And it gains 3 boon counters. So according to this enemy, they count as armor. Each boon counter on me prevents 1 damage from an attack and is then removed. Keeping in mind that Laser Eyes bypasses that. So I will definitely keep my eyes open for that. Want to coordinate that, but I have to deal with these boon counters with my regular attacks. Discard that. Oh, I used my R, so it is in the discard pile. Here comes my other hand, my next, which has the really cool card over here. Didn't realize that it was like flipped. So I'm going to be attacking a little bit and shielding a little bit. Same thing on the other side. Oh, and I did get 1 mana from not using my wild card last turn. All right, I'm going to spell the word yawn. So I have a couple of things that I'm going to need to be doing. So first of all, I'm going to use my wild card. I can't get the benefit of mana from playing cards, but I can get the benefit of the mana from the wild card. So we're going to use the wild card to gain 1 mana and then spend it immediately to use my Laser Eyes. I have 3 from the previous play of the R. Love this R. So I am going to be able to deal 4 HP of damage, which bypasses the shield that he put up. Specifically says that it bypasses block, so that's cool. 5 down to 1. So then I still have to deal with that boon. So then I have the Y right there, which is going to be dealing with that boon. So that's 3. But I'm also going to use the rocket punch. So that is all of my mana left, and I gain 2 additional attack and shield. So shield I'm not going to care about because I'm going to be taking them out. This 3 takes out the boon, and so that's also gone. And then with the rocket punch, pow! I have taken care of the deep sea diver before they were able to execute this 7 damage attack. Beautiful. Goes to the next side. And actually, I also have to use this N, heal 2 damage, always good, especially in a long-term roguelike adventure. And I have that dragon scale working for me. Wow. I am feeling pretty good. I'm already on the other side. Just to let you know what is going on with the other side, a little bit of block, a little bit harder to kind of get through him. And then Rising Strike, remove all boon counters. And for each boon counter remove, I lose 3 HP. I do not block this. It specifically says I lose 3 HP. So this is why healing is going to be pretty important. It is stunned. It doesn't do anything this round. So I have a free round to get myself set up and start wailing on him again. Okay. These are my letters, common cards. What are you going to do? Here it says it'll block 5 and gain 3 boon counters. So this is a setup turn. I'm going to want to maximize my mana. All right, I think I'm going to use a word that does not use the wild card. So I am going to get the 1 mana. My last game of this, I did not use the wild or gain mana from the wild card almost ever. That seemed like a real fail. So we are going to use the word, nope, let's get that in there, steady as she goes, and we are going to lay that down. Generates 5 damage for me, but that's useless because it blocked 5. Whatever. I did it for the mana, and I did it to generate this hex. It gets 2 hex. I know it was already over there, but let's just say that it is there right now. That's the current state of the game. Hit points don't move. 5 damage is blocked. And he gains 3 boon counters. He is going to deal 3 damage to me just straight up without blocking. But he is going to let me attack him next turn. So hopefully I get my good cards. So then this was also good because I got the advantage of the, well, adds 1. Sorry about that. I was thinking of the other card. So it added the 1 hex, which is fine, and I lose it. I think I can deal with that too. I'll discard it and get... Draw 4. Okay. Lyeo. Right. All right. I'm going to use the word lay. Why is a really hard letter to work with? Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? He is not going to use an attack action this round. There's no symbol there, so it's worth using this. Shields down, add 2 Juju Hex to the enemy, which is the main thing I wanted to do with the Y. Unfortunately, these 3 attack is going to remove his boon. Well, not unfortunately. He would have dealt me 3 damage by, just basically removes all the boon. But, I removed all the boon. He doesn't do anything. This round, so that's pretty cool. I do gain a mana, and I gain another mana from the wild card. So I have 3 mana to play with. Let's see what happens. They are now, this one's going to be an attack that does 6 damage, a little bit more ouchy. We'll see what happens. That Y goes away. So now I'm actually down to 5 cards in my hand. I think I've dithered around a little bit. I have I have 4 cards in my discard, actually 6 cards in my hand. So that dithered around just a little too much for my liking. We'll see if I can turn this around a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have this in hand. So I'm going to use my battery pack for 2 mana, bringing me down to 1, which adds a hex to the enemy, which brings the enemy to 4. I also get a boon, but who cares? I use my last mana to remove all 4 of the laser eyes, and I deal 7 damage. No boon counters or nothing. Pow! And a nice easy word, let, takes him down to from 3 to 0. I've now defeated the deep sea diver. How fantastic is that? Before they even got to deal me some damage. I love when I come out of a match with higher HP. I would really be able to kick some butt if I continue to the end over here. And I just may off camera. Who knows? All right. So I'm going to pull my basic enemy reward. So then I have this one, draw 2 cards and replace a non-penalty card. I get to draw another MacGuffin, start with 3 boon next fight. I don't have anything to do with boon besides heal, and I'm doing pretty good on heal, although this says take damage. We'll see what happens. And then this one, draw 2 cards and choose one to replace, and then upgrade 3 cards in your deck. What? Ho-ho! That is probably going to happen. You've already seen the MacGuffins. They do all sorts of random stuff, but I think that's a hard one to turn down. Upgrade 3 different cards in your deck. Holy moly. Because that's going to persist when I go into the boss fight. That's great. So first things first, I get to draw 2 cards from this big old fat deck of cards. And let's see what I get. I get a G and an H. Ugh. I don't like those letters. I think I'm gonna want one that. Ooh, this one is actually they both can kind of increase a little bit of survivability. Let's see. I think I'm going to want the. Well, this one gives mana, so I like mana because mana will let me use my items a little bit more often. So let's just I'll go with the H. And I think I could think a couple of HY words that I can that I can go with. I really have to be mindful that I have to combo stuff with Y, like hairy and hay or something like that. All right, beautiful. Decision made. And then this is the awesome thing. Well, not so awesome as I replace a letter. Probably going to be L. Get out of here, L. You cause a lot of trouble. All right, so now I get to choose 3 cards to upgrade, and I think I know exactly what I'm going to upgrade. Definitely this Y. This Y is going to be shields down 3, add 3 counters to the enemy. That's amazing. All right, I am also going to upgrade this D. This would let me, instead of moving a card to the discard pile, I'd move it to my hand. So I'd be able to double up on some really nice cards. And I could upgrade the S just to go nuts. I think I'm going to. Sure, why not? Or I could upgrade the A, which I have not used yet, but that would get me more mana. That would be cool. Decisions. You know what? Let's upgrade this T instead. I've been very, very close to using this T. If you have at least 4 shield, you add 4 attack. Here, if your shield also counts as attack this turn, oh yeah. Turning defense into offense. So lots of upgraded cards. I'm ready to fight this next dastardly enemy, who is the Buccaneer. The Buccaneer is a book 1 boss. Swig of Grog is going to add some penalty cards to my discard pile. Don't like that. If I have a... I'm hopefully going to take it out before I get this thing twice. But it is pretty nasty and it has 12 hit points. Let's see how I do. Unfortunately, for the purposes of the playthrough, I'm not really exploring the item deck very much. And I won't explore it. So just to give you an idea of what you have in store. The Fiery Blade. Enemy loses life equal to the number of boon on you. Let's see. Harpoon. Rotate this card to its upside down at the start of your turn. Oh yeah, there's rotating cards that you can activate. And this would add Hex. So you see how the items, a lot of them kind of interact with your boon. Poison Dagger, this is for the rogue enemy. Or the rogue character. This is the machine character. There's another character. So some of them are tuned to different characters. So a lot of them just manipulate the boon and the hexes. So that's what you get with the items. But I did not get those upgrades. Instead, I upgraded my deck, which I'm feeling really good about. All right, so let's draw my 4. Oh yeah, these are common. So that means my H and my Y are hanging out together. That's not so good. All right, so we're going to take the low-hanging fruit and say star. So that is 4 block and 1 mana. And I did not use the wild card, so that is going to be 2 mana for the turn. It is going to go, I have the block up, so it says deal 3 damage. I block all that, add a penalty card to my discard. And because it's my discard, it's face up, so I get to know what it is. The penalty card is Y. Another Y. No! If this is in your hand at the end of your turn, you lose 2 mana. No! After you play, move it to the penalty discard pile. Hopefully I don't get 2 Ys. That would be just complete and utter death. But I do get to add 3 nasty tokens to the enemy, and I like the cut of that jib. Beautiful. Okay, it is going to cross sabers. It's going to block 4. It's just going to block 4, so this might be another turn to build up a little bit. Got the H in my hand and a couple other letters. All right, I do not love this action at all, but I have very limited options, and at least it gives me mana. He's not going to attack, so these shields are useless, but I do get 3 mana and also 4 from the wild card, so that gives me 6 mana. That's okay. Block 4, I didn't attack it. 8 if there was a penalty card in my hand. There was not a penalty card in my hand. Not too exciting a turn. I do get 2 boon to perhaps heal later, and that goes in my away. I did not love that turn at all. All right, so I get 2 cards. One of which is that Y. Hopefully I don't get dealt that penalty Y. Yep, there it is. Terrible. All right, so I am stuck with this. I don't know if there's a word in the English language that I know that is 6 letters or below that uses 2 Ys. So because I want to get rid of that Y, it looks like I'm stuck discarding or just not using it for the turn. I am going to use my wild card, and I am going to use this card over here. We are going to spell Daisy. That uses that. I don't lose the mana, but I am actually going to use a lot of my mana anyway because I want to. Let's see. So I'm going to use Rocket Punch for 3 mana. I am going to gain 2 attack and 2 block this turn. That'll help because I'm going to get it socked pretty good. And I don't have any block over here. I would have 2 block if I used. So I am going to, that was Rocket Punch. Now I'm also going to use Battery Pack to add a boon and a hex. He is now at 4 hexes. That was 2 mana. And then my last mana is going to use the hexes and deal 7 damage. She is down to 5. And Rocket Punch deals 2, 3, 4, 5. Takes her down to 0 before she's able to do 8 damage to me. Yes! Did not need the Y anyway. It would have been good for shields, but I ended up doing 12 damage in a turn. Yes! Wow! That is so cool. I love that. And I played the Y, so this Y goes away. Get out of here, Y. I don't like you. All right, so it is flipped to the other side. Does not do what it does. It is still going to add a penalty card to my hand. It's a little bit worse, and there are more hit points. So I'm just going to have to do the best that I can over here. And I get to move a card from my fatigue pile to my hand. That is going to be that sweet, sweet R. So that is going to go in my hand. It will be in my hand for next turn. Also has the benefit of slowing down my progress through my deck. So all sorts of good that is going to happen there. Fantastic. All right. So let me rescue these 2 cards over here. And let us draw 3 more cards. Oh, I could do something with that, right? Beautiful. So now it is going to do an attack, deal 5 damage, and add a penalty to my discard pile. Not so bad. See what I can do. All right, so I played with it a little bit. I don't think I can get this sweet, sweet R at the end of my word, but the deck shuffles pretty quickly, and this is also a pretty good effect. So I'm going to spell Heart, and I get the benefit of the wild card, which is nice, and my block also counts as attack this turn, like that. So then I am going to deal 4 damage. I am also going to block 4 of the 5 damage, so I do take 1 damage. Man, I'm doing pretty good on health, but I do get a penalty card. The penalty card this time is V. If this is in your hand at the end of the turn, the enemy heals 1. So I have to figure out how to play this, but I managed it last time. I don't think it'll be as bad. So, all right. So I'm going to. Oh, wait a minute. I need to discard that T or fatigue that T. Move it there, and deal myself 2 more cards. Nothing special, but we'll see what I can do. On this turn, it'll block 4. Just block 4, so it's no use attacking. See if I could build up something for that turn. All right, unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to use my wild card. I'm going to make Sonar. I did get my R back from the previous shuffle, and I have to use it. It's such a good power. Add 3 hex to the boss, so that is 3 hex. A lot of blocking for it's not going to do anything, but attacking, blocking was just kind of a setup turn. Wanted more mana out of that. I only got 2. Oh well, and now the R is pretty much done for this round. I got as much use out of it as I possibly could. All right, so then 4, got the V, and this is not promising. It's not promising in the slightest. It's going to deal me 10 damage unless I do something about that. All right, I think I'm going to know what's going to happen. Bye-bye, S. I don't think I'm going to be using you. We are going to use the wild. We are going to use the A. We are going to make heavy. And I get 1, 2, 3, 6 shields. That's pretty good. And a mana. But I had 2 mana. I'm actually going to use the battery pack before I play this, and that's going to increase to 4, and I'm just going to use my last. And then so next turn, well, I can't do it this turn because I got the mana this turn. So I'm watching for it. Next turn, I'm going to be able to do the 7, and hopefully I can take her out. Get out. Oh boy. And the battery pack also gives me this boon. This I can do. I'm going to remove the 4 and heal myself up to 3 damage. That puts me at full. Great. So now I take 10 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I block 6 of it. So I am still at a very healthy 21 hit points. And I got rid of the penalty card. So just kind of like moving through it until I can give myself more of an advantageous position. Put those back. Everything is in my discard. I only have 5 cards left, but I'm feeling pretty good because I have my big attack set up, and it's not going to block anything this turn. So I think this will be the turn that I make my big move. All right, so as well as I was doing, the more I look at my cards, the more it's like I'm going to have to take some hits to do what I need to do just because of the way the cards are laying out. So I'm going to blame that 2Y situation. That was terrible. So I'm going to say any. And this is why this is terrible. So I needed the 3 attack, and I needed to get some more of this, the hex counter. I think it's about the only way I'm going to deal real damage now because most of my attack cards are removed from fatigue, looking at that. So I am going to deal 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to get a mana. I'm going to get another mana from not having used my wild card. I block 2. Unfortunately, I give it 3. So it's going to deal 6 damage to my face. I'm at 21. I'm all the way down to 15. That is so bad. And I get another card from my discard pile. My curse card, that's a Z. So I'm going to put that Z in my discard pile. I lose the Y. And I am going to shuffle these 5 cards left and see what I get. Probably going to get the curse card. Yep, I did get this curse card, but at that point it actually doesn't matter because I have the mana. I can use that twice, and because I added 3 over here, and it gets past the block, which is this is the phase of the block. I'm going to use the effect for 3 and the effect for 4, which deals 11 damage. It had 7. It is dead at the cost of my hit points. But I was able to defeat this character, and I am now past book 1. I think that gives you a good enough example of how the game goes. I would get the boss reward. Boss reward is right here. Look at that. Upgrade a core item. That's how you upgrade core items. More MacGuffins. Oh, I would heal 10 HP. Look at that. Oh, man. I didn't even know that was there. Sweet. So that was that was not bad at all. So I'm, again, upgrading a core item, choose 2 items. It's just goodness all around when it comes to defeating bosses. So that ended up not being bad. I sacrificed hit points and I would have gotten back from the boss award. So that is Paperback Adventures. Once again, check out the Kickstarter on May 19th, I believe it is, 18th or 19th, whatever that Tuesday is, Kickstarter day. I think this is a fun game. I'm not going to give a full review, but you see the enthusiasm I had, the fun I had. The original Paperback was good. This game, I had fun. So I hope that this helps you make an informed decision as to whether this game is your fun or not. So this is Jason from the One Stop Co-op Shop, reminding you that we will see you at the next stop.